Hello everyone and welcome to Raw Sound Entertainment's 500 Greatest Albums by Rolling Stone Magazine review. Today we will be looking at number 489, Destroyer by Kiss. Now, before you watch this video, as we mentioned in almost every part so far, it is more fun if you listen along with us. So, if you do want to understand really what we're talking about, do go listen to Destroyer by Kiss. Now, it is not necessary that you do this, but we do suggest it for the ultimate experience, I guess. Also, do follow us on Twitter. The link is now on the screen, or not the link, sorry, our Twitter handle is on the screen. You can contact us there, or you can talk to us in the comments where we will be responding as well. Alright, so, today, Destroyer by Kiss. Marshall, who is my co-host, you want to say hi?
Hi, guys.
Yeah, completely forgot you were there, buddy. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay.
He's always here, so...
always.
If this is the first time that you're watching this, he's the co-host on this show, and I'm a co-host on this show. There's no...
Although you might not know that from his intro, but...
yeah, we're both on the screen there. I think you could clue in. So, Marshall, tell us about Kiss.
Kiss! Well, if I have to tell you who Kiss is, you're not American. No, no, but Kiss is a incredibly famous American rock band, synonymous with a lot of imagery. I think they have one of the best brand images that says, I think, the band changes, but I think their image as a band stays the same throughout their entire discology, throughout their entire life. And that's really cool. So when you think of Kiss, you think of one image. Like when you think of the Beatles, for example, you might think of their early years. You might think of more 70s kind of crazy Beatles. You might think of later when they've split up. Like there's a lot of different themes there, synonymous with different bands. But Kiss, they hold that together. They hold that image, sort of like. If I were to compare them to the Apple of music, like they have a very good brand that they hold to. But they were formed in January 1973 in New York City. I think this is the first band that was formed in like a major, like big city that on the list.
I'd say so, yeah.
So that's really cool. By Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, and their image, if you don't know, although I'm sure you'll be seeing some images of them on screen, they wear face paint, they wear stage outfits, their concerts are insane, using blood.
Just read off the Wikipedia page there, what they say is in their concerts. I thought that was really interesting.
Okay. With their elaborate live performances, which featured fire-breathing, blood-spitting, smoking guitars, shooting rockets, levitating drum kits, and pyrotechnics. Because fire breathing, it doesn't count as pyrotechnics.
No. They're completely different things. Being a stunt expert, I would tell you. They're completely different things, Marshall. Come on, Marshall.
And, like, the band itself has changed over the years as far as the members, but like I said, their image as a band has not. And a big thing about Kiss, they've had 30 gold albums to date, the most of any American band. And at the time that this album came out, Destroyer, they were the most popular band in America. They were on top. So Destroyer as an album is sort of quintessential Kiss. It's interesting because some of the albums we've been listening to, a lot of them, have been sort of earlier albums and maybe from less developed periods of these bands' lives, especially with like Live from Cook County Jail, the Equemini album we listened to. Like a lot of these albums are early albums and not all of their sound had quite been fleshed out yet. But Destroyer is quintessential Kiss. It is what like as close you can get to Kiss's sound, I think, as possible. But that's all about Kiss. What did you think? Actually, let's start with our reviewing of the cover art for this album. What did you think about it?
I thought it was. It's cartoony. It's very cartoony. It's obviously a cartoon depiction of the band members jumping up, sort of putting their fists up in the air.
I think they're reaching out definitely to a younger audience with this. It's cartoony, almost comic book, you might say. With their outfits and all of that, it would definitely appeal to a younger, maybe even teenage audience. So I think that's what this album is going for. It's very rock and roll, like
Yeah, and you got like the fire in the back, which could almost be like they're in like a hell setting.
Yeah.
It's all very, very raw.
It's a very party album.
Yes, yes, it is.
So the cover art goes with that. I really like the background of the cover art. The colors they used in the background are really cool.
It is a nice album cover for sure.
My only complaint is that the title of the album is almost indistinguishable from a distance.
And it's written in a sort of typewriter font, which we're big on fonts here on Raw Sound Entertainment.
It's everything.
So it is
everything.
It's hit or miss, and that font, I guess, is so small and indistinguishable that for once on the show, the font doesn't matter.
I guess, but the Kiss font is very distinguishable, and it's a beautiful font.
I've got something about the Kiss font that I've always seen, and sort of a subliminal message, maybe, almost, is that the
SS?
two S's look like the SS. Yeah, they look like the SS symbol, which I don't know if they thought of that when they were writing it, because it's really kind of unfortunate, because it's almost like I would have caught that if I was making that. I'd be like, oh shit, I don't want this in my logo, and then it's become so huge now that they just can't go back. I don't know. Maybe they look beyond it. Maybe they're like, okay, if you're looking at that, you're maybe looking at it too far. But I mean, it's just always there for me. I just can't unsee it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
So that's always been sort of a gripe with me. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Now, this is actually the first album on this list that I have known the artist beforehand, like actually quite thoroughly. Like I knew who B.B. King was because I've heard the name before, but I didn't actually know B.B. King. Kiss is the first artist on this show that I've known their music beforehand. Well, MGMT as well. Shit.
Oh.
See, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But Kiss, I've had a lot of experience with Kiss. I listened to Kiss for a while. My dad is not that big of a fan, but he played a lot of Kiss. We had the
He's not a fan, but he plays all their music.
We had a vinyl of Alive in the basement here where I am right now for the longest time. And Alive is actually further down on the list. Is I think number 150 or something. It's in the 150s. It's actually quite high up on the list. And so we'll be seeing that in about 2 years. But it's the thing is, like, it was more of a real life picture of the Kiss bandmates, and then on the back there was sort of a picture of fans cheering on Kiss. And I thought they were going to be a much more metal band when I was younger, because I was sort of scared by the picture. I was like, oh man, this is scary, as like a 6-7-year-old kid seeing these guys in face paint and like almost like hellish outfits. It was scary. So when I first heard Kiss, I was like, this is Kiss? They're not metal for sure. And I was kind of...
I do feel like their image brings on... You'd think they're more akin to AC/DC, but they're not. They are more akin to... I feel like Kiss may have started... I may be talking out of my ass here, but I feel like Kiss may have been responsible, or one of the main bands responsible, for starting what we know as like garage bands. You know what I mean? Like when you
maybe I don't think of Kiss as a garage band.
I don't think of Kiss as a garage band. I think of garage bands as trying to mimic this kind of sound, and I think over time it slowly turned into other things. I mean, that might just be my history with the video game Guitar Hero, but
Guitar Hero does love Kiss, and they're so fun to play on Guitar Hero.
They're like I say, great party music, great to listen to with friends, and if Guitar Hero is great to play with friends, so the songs go well together. Also, if I may interject about earlier you were talking about how it looks like Nazi SS.
Yes.
You are not the only person to think that.
Oh yeah, there's yeah.
So apparently they meant for them to look like Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Which they do, which is also
a little bit, yeah.
What the SS wanted theirs to look like. And funnily enough, they because these symbols are outlawed in Germany and several other countries, or at least are offensive, in the countries of Austria, Switzerland, Poland, Lithuania, Germany, Hungary, Germany, and Israel, they changed it to where the S's look like backward Z's instead of Thunderbolts.
All right,
so the logo is different in European countries, a lot of European countries, than it is in America and Britain.
That's interesting.
And
That's
Canada,
interesting
so that's
choice.
interesting. Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of a mandatory choice. So you want your music to go worldly, but that's good. That's good for them. I think that's a good.
So they definitely
good
noticed
compromise.
that. Like,
Yes.
they wouldn't have been able to perform in Germany if they didn't change their logo. Like, that's so anyway. But that's just to answer that question. I looked that up real quick.
I was like, are you naming all those off like the top of your head? Okay, so there's like Poland, Germany, Israel, this and this and this. It's
no.
like, wow.
No.
Wow.
But
I knew you were knowledgeable, but not that knowledgeable. Come on.
what did you think about the and also 1976, not too long after the Holocaust.
No, it was only
Compared
about
to
30 years.
Compared to how far we are after. I mean, it's been a long time, but in 1976, that's like 30 years. Like,
isn't that hard to think about, to be 30 years after the Holocaust?
Yeah.
It must have been, oh man, I don't want to think about it.
And that's why that would be tremendously offensive in Poland or Germany or any country in Central Europe.
Yeah, I agree.
Or Israel. So, anyway. And it still is today, but back then it would have even been more so because the wounds were even more fresh. So I really like the album.
I thought it was good.
I agree
good
with you,
is
though,
as far
that
as I'll go.
you expect them to be metal.
Or even, they it feels almost like an emo look, like a 90s emo, how they would put like face paint, mom you don't understand me type
Maybe.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this is just a
I always
phase.
thought
This
of
is
them
not
as
just
like
a phase.
devils because they use their tongues so much. I feel like emo
Gene Simmons
kids
uses his
don't
tongue
use
a
their
lot.
tongues so much.
Gene Simmons invented the playing the guitar with your tongue.
There you go.
Fun fact.
Fun.
So-
It's so fun.
It is so much fun to play guitar with your tongue. Anyways, let's get to the content of the album after 12 minutes of talking about Kiss.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. This is a band with a lot of history, so.
This was that was a good talk. I think it was all very constructive. So I think we can't go through this album without starting off by talking about the first track, which is, in my opinion, the best song on the album.
I think most of the albums start with a really good start strong.
Yes, and this is the song that is, I think, the most famous from this album. Now, although Beth does have quite a few plays, Detroit Rock City just has a legacy. It's still played. I hear it on the radio all the time, still, like on the oldie stations. It is a famous song, and I liked this song even before I listened to this album review, and then listening to it again, I had the treat of listening to it again, and it's still a good song, guys. Just saying, it has not changed since then, and it's still a classic. And actually, I've got another story about my dad, who was talking about Detroit Rock City once with me, and he was talking about his friend in his hometown. They used to drive in his old pickup, and when Detroit Rock City, or he had a cassette player, right? And on the cassette, he had one song. It was Detroit Rock City, and his friend said that you cannot play Detroit Rock City quietly. It has to be loud, and I sort of agree with him on that one, because Detroit Rock City is a banging song and you have to play it loud. Like, whenever I listen to that song, it's cranked up to the max, because that is a fun song to listen loud, and especially in the car.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I say this as right now I'm listening to it very quietly, but
Of course.
because I tend to play a song if we're talking specifically about it, so it's fresh in my mind as we're
That's
talking
smart.
about it. But I play it sort of quietly so I can hear you clearly. And
Yeah.
so as you're saying, you need to play it, blasting it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And
It's a fun song though, very fun.
It's really
the
good.
And the content matter in the song is very relevant even today with drunk driving and impaired driving and so many deaths happening. You know, it's a very touchy subject that they interpret very well with a very rock and roll setting to it.
I completely agree.
All right, so what about you? Name some of the stuff you liked here.
Well, I really liked. Detroit Rock City is really good. It's a great rock and roll song. It's hard. Detroit Rock City is designed to be good, or designed to be catchy. So
Yes.
I'm probably going to like it no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
going into this, it was unlikely that I was gonna not like it, because it's designed to get you moving, that sort of thing. I really liked Great Expectations, which was a song you didn't like, but I liked it. It's sort of mixed classic rock with it was sort of it reminded me almost of Elton John at times, or like a Queen maybe. So I really liked Great Expectations. Sweet Pain, I like that. I felt like Sweet Pain was very Kiss, very rock and roll, and I loved Beth. Beth is Beth is an incredible song, an incredible ballad. I'm a huge fan of ballads, being a Billy Joel fan, obviously. And Beth is a really killer ballad, and I definitely think if we ever do like a top 10 songs of the 500 albums, like Beth would probably be in there for me. It's really
No,
good.
really?
Oh yeah, very possible.
Wow, it's that good in your opinion?
Possibly. Like, it wouldn't be high. It'd probably be 10 or 9. But I mean, I have to listen to all the albums, right? But
yeah, that's true.
But it's high up there.
That's impressive because I like the song. It was a good song for sure on the album. But is it going to be in my top 10? For sure not. I'm guaranteed there's going to be more stuff that I'm going to find that's going to be in the top 10.
I view it very highly. It's so soft and it catches you off guard. I think that's what I love about ballads. They fit into so many types of albums well. Like, you can insert a ballad into almost any kind of album, in my opinion, and it will fit the theme of the album. And it's sort of it forms a roller coaster ride musically, because especially on this album where you're going up, 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 and then brings you down to the floor with Beth, and really brings you down to earth. I like that experience. I think Beth not only is an excellent single, but it fits in well with this album, which you can't say about all really good singles, you know?
Right.
So that's my opinion of the album overall. I didn't hate any of the songs. Rock and Roll Party wasn't really
didn't
a
like
song,
God of Thunder.
But
I really didn't like God of Thunder.
You didn't like God of Thunder.
I didn't like it.
I heard something about taking virginity in that song. It's a pretty weird song.
Yeah, it was too coarse. They were like, God of Thunder, you know? It was almost AC/DC like.
You know,
like,
maybe that's part of the
AC/DC,
conspiracy.
so.
God of Thunder, that's the god that the Nazis took after when they named the SS.
Oh my god, I don't know if you use the Illuminati thing again that I did
shit,
that one
man.
episode.
Anyway, but I think so. I might be wrong, but I think the Nazis used like Thor as the SS symbol, or like that's where they took that from. Anyway, I really like the album. Now it sounds like you didn't like God of Thunder at all. Was there anything else you didn't like?
I didn't like God of Thunder and the song after Great Expectations, and then the song Flaming Youth was okay. So like it was like God of Thunder, Great Expectations, that it sort of took a dip. Then you get to Flaming Youth, and then it just gets generic, you know. After a while, it's like I thought this rock was maybe because Kiss was maybe a pioneer in this whole thing, and they were so popular, and they've got so much radio play that it feels generic. But it just felt like a lot of the stuff sounded similar, and I've said that a lot. But this album certainly had that feeling as well. Now then you get to Beth, which is of course a change of pace. But overall, I thought it was very Kiss-like. And am I a fan of Kiss? I'm not a die-hard Kiss fan, but I'm not I guess I'm not that big of a fan.
Okay, shit.
Yeah, I guess that's what this album has taught me. But anyways, Detroit Rock City, excellent. 2 thumbs up. Beth, 1.5 thumbs up, if that exists. And yeah, the rest of the album is good.
I think this is time where we get to our scores. So what'd you give this album? What'd you think?
I'm gonna give it it's tough. I'm torn right now. This is the first time on the series where I haven't been like boom right on a number, because it's either a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. Oh man, and I gotta pick between the two, so I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, that's solid. That's a solid score. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I'll say that. I'm going to give this album a very solid, high praise 8 out of 10.
Nice.
So, to give you I really like this album. I enjoyed it. It kept me into it. Never bored me. I felt like I was bored last album. Like, I liked last album, but at its best, it not at its best. At its worst, it bored me. And Kiss, Destroyer never kept me bored. I was really jamming out to the album, and it really goes I think it goes well with doing a lot of things. I could imagine it being very good for playing video games too. It's a great album. So definitely solid 8 out of 10 from me on Destroyer, which is high praise from me. I don't give those out too easily. Now, next album we'll be covering 488, Husker Du, New Day Rising.
I'm so excited for this one. At first when I saw it, I did not know it was going to be punk, because it does not look like a punk album cover, in my opinion. And then you told me it was punk. I read the description, and it is punk. So that's exciting. These three Minneapolis dudes playing savagely emotional hardcore punk that became a big influence on Nirvana, among others. The Huskers create a roar like garbage trucks trying to sing Beach Boys songs, especially on the anthems Celebrated Summer and Perfect Example. Yeah, they don't make it sound that appealing.
I like the Beach Boys singing Beach Boys songs.
Yeah, they don't make it sound that appealing, do they? Roar like garbage trucks trying to sing Beach Boys songs.
Garbage trucks don't have vocal cords.
Yeah, they're not trying to sell it, are they? They're not really.
We'll see.
Anyways,
it might be crazy. It's from 1985, so that was the sort of time where there was a lot of experimental music, a lot of experimental sounds. So it might just be like a crazy ass album. But we'll see where it takes us. Do you know how it's pronounced exactly with the umlauts? Is it Huskardu or Huskarda or?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'd say Huskardu. That's the way I think it would work with me, because Husker. I think it's supposed to be you do it instead of a Husker instead of Husker. I think that's what the what did you call it?
The umlaut. I'm pretty sure that's what that's called. The German umlaut. But
I think it's supposed to be Husker, like Husker, or like Udenaden, like the typical German quintessential accent.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, Husker though.
So.
God, this just got really offensive.
Really bad. So, if you want to see that, you need to come back next time on our review of Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums. This episode was 489 Kiss. Make sure you listen to the next album once again, which is Husker Du. Tell us what you think on Twitter. Tell us what you think in the comments. We'll see you next time.